live from the heart of the Blue Ridge, Roanoke, Virginia. It's the Just Bernard Show with host Bernard Alvarez. Join Bernard as he shares topics that reveal the real matrix and empower your human experience, including world liberty, the esoteric, suppressed technologies, spiritual ascension, and human consciousness. Humanity has awakened, and our time has come to realize our full potential. And now, live from the Star City, your host, Bernard Alvarez.
Hello and welcome to the Just Bernard Show here on Facebook Live and YouTube. Today I'm going to be doing a pretty casual show. It's going to be a little bit short. I've gotten busier. I don't know what's going on. Yesterday, unfortunately, I ended up with a migraine because of the weather, and I didn't have the opportunity to write the show that I was planning for you. So we will be doing it next week. As I mentioned last week, I want to do a presentation on how to awaken your third eye and work with your third eye a little bit more, working with your pineal gland and all the things that go with that. As a matter of fact, one of the comments today that I picked up is about that, and I am going to cover that in just a minute. Hello to everybody who's just starting to join in. Thank you for watching. Anyway, I was able to go through it. Let me start from the beginning here. Why am I doing it like this today? I used to do a monthly Q&A, and because of the time constraints that I have recently, whether I'm producing a show or a project for other people or with other people, I've got so much information I want to put out there that I want to teach classes when I do these things. I want to do some type of consciousness talk or meditation or ritual, so there's always something to do. And I haven't had a chance to do Q&A as well. I do get to read all of your comments. Well, I shouldn't say that. I get to read most of your comments, but I really don't have much of a chance to respond. So I figured today would be a great day to go through, get some of the emails that you guys write me, as well as go through some of the comments that you all write me, and respond to them. So, without further ado, I'm going to be answering I don't take your names, so I try to keep it anonymous. I usually just grab the question. So the first question I'm going to be answering is, someone wrote me, what would be a good primer on practical magic? Okay, so again, and I'll get into why I don't respond to comments, because the comments are so long, but I'll get into that in a minute. Practical magic. What is practical magic? What do you think practical magic is? Are you looking for a guide that is to teach you the basics about paganism? Are you looking for a book to teach you the basics on ceremonial magic? So it's a very big question, practical magic. I think of the movie when I hear that term. I can share with you the books that I've used and what I used when I first started going off on this path. And the first book that I picked up was Scott Cunningham's Wicca for the Solitary Practitioner. That was the book that really helped me realize that I was more into matrifocal spiritual practice, that it showed me another way other than the patriarchal Western style of whether it be Christian magic or Freemasonic magic or ceremonial magic, or for that matter, Western esoteric practices. So I really enjoyed that book. It taught me about the goddess. It taught me about nature worship, and that really aligned with me. I mean, I've always been drawn to, at that time, I was about 19 years old. I was always drawn to shamanism and nature worship and that kind of stuff. But that book kind of hit the nail on the head, because I also have been drawn to Celtic religion and spirituality. So that book covered it. Another great one, if you want to start off with, is The Big Blue Book, Raymond Buckland's complete book of witchcraft, I believe it's called. It's a workbook, And I did go through the workbook, and I did all the assignments and everything. It's a great place to start. Now, if you're talking about ceremonial magic, well, I mean, there's so many books out there. You can go back to the 1800s or the early 20th century and pick up some books. I forgot the name of the author. I can't remember. Anyway, I like Donald Michael Craig's ceremonial magic book. I forgot the name of it, what it's called, but I like that book in particular. It's a very clean read, and it will teach you the basics and help you. It's a good primer. It's a good primer. As a matter of fact, one of the covens that I was a part of, we went through that book together. The entire coven. We went from chapter. We are a pagan group, but that particular aspect, we did go through the ceremonial magic practices and classes and all the lessons together, and that was very, very helpful to me. So there's a lot out there. I mean, you just have to figure out what it is that you're drawn to and go with that. And I'm sure there is a book out there for you. If you're looking to the historical aspect, I would say the Chalice and the Blade is a great place to start. Yeah, so I hope that answers the question. What would be a good primer to read on practical magic? So now we're going to go into a question that's kind of more, how do I say, ethereal. Someone asked me, why is life so difficult? Why is life so difficult? Well, the easy answer is that we make it difficult. We make it difficult in the society that we have created. We make it difficult in the way that we have come to allow ourselves to think, and the habit that we have of thinking of trying to be better than somebody else, or not trying to work harder than somebody else, or judging other people. So the short answer to me is, why is life so difficult? We've done it to ourselves. I don't believe life is difficult. I believe that when you're young, I believe that has a lot to do with your biology. Quite honestly, when we're in from adolescence up and through our 20s, we've got a bazillion hormones moving through, and it affects our brain chemistry. And not only that, we're trying to find our place in our world, trying to find our place in this world and where we fit in. So there's a lot of internal struggle, as well as peer pressure, that can make life difficult. Do we have the ability to say, I am not going to allow myself to make it so difficult? Absolutely. I know people in their teens that act like they're 50, and they have the wisdom of a 50-year-old. Some of us call them rainbow children or crystal children. Yes, they're out there, and I believe there are more wise young people than there are wise young people these days, quite honestly. Wait, did I say that right? I think there are more wise young people than wise old people, yes. But to answer on a more extended, I'll give you a more extended answer, why is life so difficult? It has to do with the way our thinking patterns are. How do we think? How do we react? I talked a little bit about this last week, but we are basically, whether we like it or not, we are the ones responsible for our thoughts. Our thoughts then in turn create our emotions. Our emotions is how we feel. How we feel is how we perceive the world. So it isn't until we learn to take responsibility for our thinking and for the thoughts that run through our head every day that we gain the ability to, I don't want to say control emotion, but to sit in a more peaceful way and to exist in a more peaceful way. Peaceful thoughts, peaceful emotion. Chaotic thoughts, fearful emotion. Chaotic emotion. So, short answer, why is life so difficult? We do it to ourselves, and it's your choice whether we want to make it difficult or not. I still make my life difficult. I mean, nobody's perfect, and that's okay. We have a tendency to be human, and There's no crime against being human. Empower your humanity. Don't run away from it. So this is my favorite question, and which was what motivated me to do today's talk is, why don't you reply to your comments on your Facebook page or YouTube videos? Short answer, for my own sanity. Again, I am very vigilant as to what I expose my senses to. Yes, I will read through certain comments, but as well, the reality of it is that if I see, doing the work that I do and being as blunt as I am with the topics that I talk about, things can get a little antagonistic. And of course, I'm a human being and I just want to be antagonistic right back. And that's not healthy for me, and it's not healthy for anybody on that receiving end. So I find that it's better for me not to say anything. It's better for all of us not to say anything. I'm always saying, if you don't have something nice to say, then don't say. But at the same time, if you don't have a platform where you can give an educated response, don't do it. And that's really the main reason. My answers would probably be 2 pages long, quite honestly. Look how I am on these talks that we do here. You ask me one question, I'm going to give you a 10-minute answer. Can you imagine how long I would have to write a comment on for me to answer the way I want to answer? And I will give you an example of that in just a few moments. But the short, there is no short answer to why I don't reply to comments. 1 is for my mental health, 2 is for my inner peace, and 3 is because it's not a platform that I can communicate my thoughts clearly. I much rather prefer to speak to you and to answer you in this manner. That way you can let me communicate from my heart and from my mind appropriately, rather than give you a little two-sentence reply just to make you feel that you've been heard. I've heard you. I read it. So yes, you are being heard, but sometimes it's not a short answer. I'm not gonna reply to a comment if it's not a short answer, and most of the times it's long. This one's great. Do you praise Satan? Good example of a long answer. Well, for those of you that know what I do, who I am, and my spirituality, you'll know that I align with paganism. I align with earth spirituality. A majority of earth spirituality, or shamanic, indigenous spirituality, and there is no Satan in that realm. Satan is a construct of the Abrahamic religions, Abrahamic being Judeo-Christian, Christian, and Muslim. That is in that category. I don't align with those religions, so I've read about the concept of Satan, I understand the concept of Satan, but no, of course I don't praise Satan. It's not a part of my religion. That's like asking it's like asking a Native American if they praise Satan. Come on. It's not a part of our religion. That's your creation. That's not ours. We believe that there is positive and negative, there is contrast, there is good, there is bad, but they are all necessary to maintain the balance of life itself. I praise life. I praise life force energy. I praise humanity. I praise nature. Do I praise Satan? I don't even believe in Satan. So it's doesn't even exist. So my next question that I received that I'm going to answer, and by all means, guys, if you would like to post a question in the comments here, I'll see if I can answer it in the time that we have. I got about 15 minutes left, and then I'm going to have to run. But someone asked, do you feel that we should constantly meditate to keep the brain upgraded? Well, first of all, I love the beginning of do you feel. That's a great way to start a question. That we should. I don't use the word should, and if I do, I try to catch myself and say, do I feel? Don't should yourself. That's one of the things I talk about with the internal dialogue that we have, shooting yourself or shooting other people is very, it closes, it locks the energy, it blocks the energy, it creates obstacles. So do I feel that one could constantly meditate to keep the brain upgraded? I believe that meditation is an intricate part of A, our mental health, and B, our physical health, and C, our spiritual health. It is an integral part of it. I do believe the more we meditate, the more the brain is at rest, the more you can be rejuvenated, the more you allow life force energy to move through, to refill your body, to make you healthy, to keep your mind clear, and to help you align and connect with your higher self, in turn connecting with source consciousness. Constantly is a tough term. There is no such thing as constantly. You do have a life. You do need to get up and brush your teeth. You need to go to the bathroom. You need to go to work. You need to put on your clothes. You got to take a bath. You got to feed yourself. So to constantly meditate is impossible. Now, is it important to have a regular habit of meditation? Absolutely. I do my best to meditate twice a day, in the morning and in the evening. First thing in the morning, I will take even 2 or 3 minutes upon awakening to share my gratitude and to empower myself. I am meditation usually. I am empowered. I am grateful. I am prosperous. I am healthy. I am aware. Right? Very simple meditation, very simple wordage, verbiage to use. In the evening, I will usually just do breathing exercises to quiet my mind, allow that space in between the thoughts to kind of expand and kind of find that, as well as I do work on my third eye. I want to feel my third eye waking up and some kind of action going there. So yeah, I do feel, I don't like to use the word need either, but I do feel we could, and it would be in our best interest to meditate regularly to keep the brain upgraded and to continually upgrade our synapses and our neurotransmitters, as well as your pineal gland and your thinking patterns, your thinking habits. And speaking of which, here's the next one. I really want to open up my third eye, but I can't. Okay. I've done many meditation techniques, but I still can't. What is a technique which is accurate and speedy? Well, right there is the technique you don't want to do. Nothing speedy. Not when it comes to awakening or elevating your consciousness. I believe that the only quick way would be something like a shamanic vision quest or ayahuasca journey or DMT or something like that, which I'm not recommending, but that would be like a quick blow open your third eye. And if you don't know what you're doing, you can get what I call psychic whiplash. So, however, if you want to do a meditation technique, and we can do, here's a little sample of what we're going to do next week, is, well, actually, I'm going to save that for the end because I'm going to want to leave after that, and you're going to want to relax after that. So before I leave in the next 10 minutes, we're going to do a short sample technique. But I will say it goes beyond just meditation technique to awaken your third eye and your pineal gland. It has to do with diet. It has to do with what you surround yourself with, who you surround yourself with, what are you putting into your mind, your body, and all of your senses. And I talk about that all the time because it's very important. But yes, we will do a quick, here I am contradicting myself, a speedy technique, short. We'll be doing a short technique before I go. So another gentleman writes, my mind, actually no, I take this back. This is a woman from India who wrote this. My mind feels like it's in overdrive, and thoughts, curiosities, and questions ranging in topics of aliens, awakening, transcendence, the meaning of life, astral projection, etc., have been driving me almost insane. Welcome to your awakening. I know that upon that, when you get a crack in the matrix, I'm going to get a little serious here. When you get that little crack in the matrix, the crack in the ego, the crack in the illusion, you begin to understand the reality that most likely we're not the only people in the universe. Most likely, we are going through some type of, you personally are going through some type of conscious awakening, some kind of enlightenment or ascension and transcendence. Transcendence being transcending the day-to-day, transcending the story that we've been taught to believe, the myths that we've been taught to believe about ourselves, about society, about politics, about religion, about drugs, about food. You know, we've been taught. And once you start to unlearn that, and you see the cracks, you become more curious. You want to learn more. I believe that, you know, the work I did with the Global Illumination Council, that's what we were about, was to have a platform for those that were curious and wanted to learn about this stuff. No, the GIC's gone. It's been gone for a while, but that was the reason for it, that we needed a home for people who were going through this awakening to share with each other, share their experiences, as well as offer information, whether it be in the form of documentaries or shows, or I still like to have authors and speakers and whatnot come on and talk about this kind of stuff. But you need to have a source to fulfill that curiosity. Now, I will say, it's normal. It's a normal process in the awakening. You're peeling away layers. You're peeling away all that muck, all that mud, all that dust. You know, you've had all this dust in your brain because you've been programmed to think and live a certain way, and then suddenly you spontaneously get that big aha. Well, the world is nothing like I thought it was. My consciousness is much greater than I thought it was, and we've been lied to our whole lives, and that can be very frustrating and hurtful, and it can create a lot of fear, unfortunately. And one of the reasons why we pulled away from, one of the reasons why we dissolved GIC was, A, there was just not enough manpower to do the work that needed to be done, but as well, a lot of people were, at that point, were starting to move into what we call fear porn. People got excited, you know, hearing, oh, the reptilians are coming and they're going to eat everyone, you know, what is the agenda 21, and Manchurian Candidate, and, you know, all the stuff about, you know, everyone's working against you. They want to kill you. They want to kill you. They want to kill you. And people get excited with that stuff. And so they watch all the documentaries, they listen to all the radio shows, and they eat it with a spoon. And what really, really angered me, and it still does, what angered me about that is that these people are making thousands and thousands of dollars either every day, every month, every week, taking advantage of those who are just starting to awaken. You know who I'm talking about. There's a lot of radio shows out there. There's a lot of YouTube channels out there. There's a lot of documentary filmmakers out there that are talking about all this outrageous stuff. And little do you know, because I do know a lot of them personally, they're making major bank. They are making so much money off scaring people of the alien invasion, or the communist invasion, or the fascist invasion, or the Luciferian invasion. You know, we used to make fun of satanic panic. You know, they love satanic panic to scare people, but meanwhile, they're making hand over fist, hand over fist, hand over fist. And they use that fear and they take advantage of people like this woman who's talking about this. So yes, when you're going through it, it will make you feel like you're going crazy. But what I will say is remain grounded. And quite honestly, I do have some news on that. I've been invited to teach a master class on this. And I'm going to be doing a master class with some of the greats, by the way. And I'll share the names when I can find out. I'm allowed to share the names. But we're talking internationally known, more known than I am, talking about awakening consciousness. And my masterclass is going to be on how to remain grounded while you're going through the awakening process. If I'm not mistaken, it will be available for free sometime in January, and we'll be filming it in just a couple weeks, actually. But be aware, if you feel like you're going crazy, it's good to feed the curiosity. It's good to, go down that rabbit hole. But I will say, always take a breath, pull yourself back out of that rabbit hole, and then investigate who you're getting that information from. Investigate, follow the money. Follow the money. There are people out there that think, and some of them don't even do it on purpose, but there are people out there, speakers, I'll say it, conspiracy, truther type people. I don't even think they mean to harm people, but they get so wrapped up in it, and the next thing you know, you've got people too scared to leave their house, people too scared to live in society, people that just don't move forward. They start moving backward and retreating. Now, retreating into oneself is great, but retreating from the world doesn't help anybody. If you need to go inward and learn the truth from within and then share that with other people, that's kind of what I hope we're all doing eventually. I believe that, yes, it's important to, put that tree around that little sapling so it doesn't get stomped on by the sheep, but that tree will grow and it will provide shade for many. But that is the awakening process. That's part of the awakening process. You're going to go a little crazy. You're going to be hurt. You might get a little depressed. But learn to meditate. Learn to meditate. We're gonna do the meditation in a minute, but I have to answer this because I got a kick out of it, and it also gives me an opportunity to plug something else that I'm working on. I got a message yesterday. Are you a wizard? I don't call myself a wizard. I call myself a pagan. Maybe it's about, some people call me shaman, some people call me witch, some people call me magician. I'm just Bernard. I literally use that title on purpose because I'm not one for labels. But am I a wizard? Well, the definition of wizard is someone who practices magic and or sorcery. So yes, I do practice magic and sorcery. Again, look up those definitions. Don't fall for the fearful satanic panic version of those. But yes, I guess you could call me a wizard, especially now. I think a lot of you know that, or may not know that I am now an instructor at the Gray School of Wizardry and Witchcraft. I am an instructor in the Department of Ceremonial Magic, and I'm teaching a couple of classes there. And I've just started, it's been a couple months now, about a month and a half, and I'm just starting to get my feet wet, but I am enjoying it. It's really a great school. I enjoy the people that I work with. It's an online school. I believe they're starting to work on more physical stuff. As a matter of fact, there's a gathering, conclave coming up in July or June, I want to say, or May, I don't remember, next summer. Anyway, if you want to learn more, you can go to grayschool.org. And yeah, it's a fully accredited not-for-profit school. You get a journeyman certificate as well as something else when you graduate. But there's like years of classes that you can take, literally years of classes you can take if you want to learn in a more formal setting, more in a collegiate setting. But yeah, I'm going to be doing live classes there as well pretty soon. So let's go back to the third eye meditation stuff. So one of the things that a lot of people leave out, and either because they feel funny about it, or they just don't do it, is chanting and vibrating. One of the first things that I was taught in high magic, ceremonial magic, was the art of vibrating. Vibrating, it's not like chanting, close, but it's not like chanting. Vibrating is when you're chanting a name, or a term, or a sound, but you're visualizing that it's shaking the world. And what that does in turn is it literally shakes your body down to your bones. How many of you, well, I guess you can answer me if you want to, how many of you have heard about like harmonics and all that kind of stuff? Right now those gong baths are really big, and frequency and healing, a lot of healing frequency stuff is being brought to the forefront. What was the name of that gentleman that did that sound stuff, that created all the little designs and whatnot? The Japanese guy that passed away recently. I already forgot his name. I have too much. I got to clear my hard drive. I've got too much information up there. But so sound is a big part of it. When I do third eye work, and we're going to get into this more next week when I actually do the consciousness class on awakening your third eye and clearing your pineal gland, sound is has a part in it. So as a rule, I don't like to chant names that I don't know what they mean. I had to when I went through my occult training and Golden Dawn training. We had to say all the Elohims and all that stuff. But I'm a metrofocal. I don't like to chant patrifocal names. But so what I do is I just use Aum. There's people that turn it all around and have added like goddess names and whatnot, and that's fine. But I just use the Aum. What's so big about Aum? Aum. It's 4 sounds. Ah, the beginning. Oh, the peak. The descent. And then the silent. And then it starts again, from the silent to the beginning to the peak to the descent, back to the silent, like a thought, like a wave. So I just use Aum for everything. How do we do Aum? Well, I usually, when I'm teaching a class on vibration, I'll say, well, your talking voice or your singing voice, well, bring it down one. You want to go down from here. I can be a little nasally, so I have to bring it down a little bit. So when you chant the Aum for this particular exercise, when you're vibrating, bring it down a tone. So let's do it together. We'll do the Aum once, and then we'll do the meditation. I'm already late. I got to go. Let's take a deep breath. Exhale. One more time, taking a deep breath. Exhale. And now do it with me once. Taking a deep breath in. Fill your belly. Again, that's why we take a deep breath. You heard how long I did the Aum. Take a deep breath, filling your belly, fill your diaphragm. Okay, now this time, when we do it, what I'd like you to do is, I'm sure by now you're feeling the vibration in your throat. You might be feeling it in your head. Now focus that vibration to right behind your brow where your pineal gland is. So imagine that vibration. You're starting here in the gut. You're starting in the what's it called? The solar plexus. The diaphragm starts off deep. You're going to bring it up your chest. The vibration coming up your throat and going behind your eye to your brow and shake the pineal gland. So let's do that now one more time, taking a deep breath. Again, really visualizing and coming up, going behind. Take a deep breath. Okay, by now you should be noticing by the time you get to the M, it's coming up to your cheeks. And this last time, I'm going to do it one more time. This last time, when you get to the M, really vibrate the M through your head so it goes behind your brow. Okay, one more time. Take a deep breath. Namaste. Anyway, that should probably get you going, get you started. We will be doing the full third eye meditation, pineal gland awakening discussion next week on the Just Bernard Show. I thank you all so much for joining me this week, and I will see you soon. I love you very, very much. Take care. Bye-bye.